Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this position. It is, first of all, black thought that in this position is going to be a stalemate or a draw for black because black cannot move, this pawn is moving like this, and these two pawns are moving like this. So all what black has to do is just to sacrifice the rook on f3, and that's pretty much it, right? This is going to be stalemate because the king cannot move, the pawn cannot move, so the only thing that you have to give up it is the rook. Now, if white takes, of course, yeah, this is a stalemate, but white will not take, and it is up to you to find the best move for white in this position. And there's only one move only is gonna lead to a win for white in this exact position. Anything else will lead to a draw. So you have to think about this. I mean, look, it is very, very insane and very difficult. I mean, it is almost impossible to see. But you gotta make a decision. You have four options. Which one is the correct one? Of course, this is not an option you should not take. It's gonna lead to a stalemate. Okay, so hopefully you pause the video for a while to think about the position and what is the best move. Now, if you thought about moving the king, this is bad because whenever the king moves, there will be a rook sacrifice on a3. Of course, we cannot take. This is stalemate, of course. He's trying to sacrifice, trying to give you the rook, and you should not take it. King to b1 is forced. After rook to a1, you have to take it. And this will lead to a stalemate. So, of course, it is not moving the king. So now you cannot move the king anywhere because even if you move the king up, for example, a lot of checks are going to be possible, like here. You cannot take in any kind of way. Even if you try to run, you cannot run. You're going to keep getting checked. And black will never take these pawns because these pawns are the essential for his stalemate. So all he has to do is just give you checks, and that's pretty much it. So it's not running away with the king. After rook to f3, I mean, this is not a brilliant move, but I mean, it's a brilliant move to get white into a trap of either taking this rook or moving to a2 or any other place with the king. So it is a brilliant trap, but it's not the best move because this is losing for black. Okay, now you might be thinking about, okay, what if we played d3, for example? d3, black just takes it. We can to stalemate, so you're like, okay, we'll takes. King a2, check. King b1, check. King runs, check. King here, check. You cannot take. Black is farming brilliant moves in this position. Check. You cannot take. It will lead to a stalemate. So once you get tired of your opponent having over 40 brilliant move, then you decide, you know what, let's just take the rook. Because you cannot do anything in this position. Because black is only going to keep giving you checks, and wherever you go, even if for example, even if here, that's also a check. White cannot take, it's a stalemate. So after rook to f3 check, it is not d3. You're like, okay, what about c3, for example? Well, rook takes. Now the king moves, check, king moves, check, king moves, check, here, check. The exact same thing. Black will, I mean, it seems like it is impossible to win this for white. I mean, look at this. The rook can be taken 3 times, but white doesn't want this. White wants to win this. So it's not after rook to f3, really good move. Not d3, not c3. What about the move b3? Well, that's very bad because of this check. The king is forced to go on this file. And then after king a4, check, here, check. And it's going to be, repeated checks. So now you have seen that the best move in this position is to play the move e3. Okay, so now because this is the only move that is left. So okay, after pawn to e3, what happens after rook takes e3? We don't move the king, because if you move the king, the exact same thing will happen. We will be forced to take the rook, and if we move up, so after this check, so if we move up, it's going to be another check, and a lot of checks. It doesn't matter where the king actually goes to. It is check no matter what. Probably like here is best. And it's going to be repeated checks. So in this position, after rook takes e3, we have to play only one move. I mean, there are 2 moves, but one move is actually the best move, which is the move c3. You are blocking the rook. You're like, what? We're not blocking anything. Rook takes. Do you really think that this is actually winning for white? What do you say? Well, let's see. King a2. Rook to a3 check. You cannot take. King d1, rook a1 check. King to c2, rook to c1, king to d3, rook to c3 check. King to e2, rook to e3 check. King to f1, rook to e1 check. King g2, rook g1, king f3, rook takes g3. You cannot take. It is stalemate. King e3, rook to e3 check. King d1, rook e1 check. Do you really think this is a draw or a win? Be honest. It looks like a draw, right? I mean, black is going to keep giving these checks because after rook to c1, king b3, rook c3, king a2, there is no rook to a3 check. You're like, what? We cannot take. Well, remember the pawns that we removed? We removed the pawns in order for the rook to take this rook, and this will be checkmate in one. This is insane. Pushing these two pawns, giving them away, moving the king like crazy, and then to open up the file for the rook. That is insane. This position is, I have no idea who composed this, but he is a freaking menace. Holy shit. Now you might say, well, why only the move rook to e3 and then the move rook to c3 actually works? Because this actually allows white to keep maneuvering his king all over the place until forces, the removal of this pawn and every single pawn, and then it's going to be very easy for white to go to the a2 square, and there will be no check on this file because we removed all of the pawns on the g file, and it's going to allow the rook to go all the way to a3. This game is literally insane. This position is amazing. Tell me in the comments if you managed to find, one of these really amazing moves. I really thought that this is going to be a stalemate for black. It seemed impossible for white to win this, but after I looked at it at an engine, it was wow. It was insane. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you again with another one.